It is officially time for a change. We are packing up our moose grind over on Medved-Taiga and moving it here to Layton Lakes. And honestly, Medved was fine. Over the course of about 1,500 kills, we had 7 pieballs, I think 4 or 5 diamonds, and countless trolls. But there was something about coming out here yesterday for the release of the Hunter Power Pack and just hunting moose on this map that really just made me think we should try grinding here. So that is what we're going to do. So armed with the 338, we're going to start taking out some moose. Now, I have spent some time setting up on this map. I've got some tents and tripods set up in areas that I think are going to be good, but it's going to be a kind of work in progress. So we actually have a loadout that I just saved for tents and tripods, basically. We have the 338, binoculars, tripods, tents, and first aid kits. That is it, and that's going to allow us to move our setup as we go. But I'm actually quite excited for this. I think if anything is going to rejuvenate our moose grind, it is moving it here to Layton Lakes. There's just such a sense of familiarity. We did the whitetail grind here, obviously, and we're successful with it, and I'd love to, one day, say the same about the moose. Now, technically, we did shoot a number of moose between the stream and earlier setting up, but we'll just count this as moose number 1 for our grind. Hard shot and all with the 338, and I don't think I really intend to grind with the 338. Because it's the new weapon, I thought we'd bring it out here today, and maybe for a couple of days. We'll see how it goes. When we had the situation like we did, where the moose just kind of turn to face you when they go alert, that's fine. Like, there's plenty of time to get a follow-up with the 338, that's no big deal. It's those times where they don't do that, where the 300 is really valuable. But numbers 1 and 2 for our moose grind are down, and we'll just head out and start to increase those stats. And actually, I think already we're looking at a spot we could maybe move. I didn't want to fast travel to this tent, because I was afraid if the moose were already in render from where we just were, they would actually just end up fleeing. So that's something to maybe move around, but not a bad level 4 there. He's going to go down, and I think he must have been in there by himself as far as bulls go. I do think I shot one there while setting up, but for now, I'm going to leave that tent in place because I don't know where we want to move it to, and I actually think this could be a spot, and actually just the little length of time we have running around the edge of this lake, I think will be a spot to place a tent on the other side. This is going to cost us a good chunk of time running from here over to where the moose drink. If we just put a tent right over in there, that'll save us probably close to a minute or so every time we go here. For the moment then, we'll probably just place it right on the other side of the water here, because I doubt the moose are going to be exactly there every time. Could be sort of either side of this, or probably around like 100 meters either direction from where it's at. But just to not have to run all the way around that, I think will help us a good bit. This will be our first gold though. Hard shot him at 224, 209 score, and good to at least get a good one down. Now, I think I've been up through here. I didn't see any more moose, so for now we'll just kind of jump to some of the other places we have set up and see how they're looking. And this is a thing that I've been seeing already. Evidently, with this update, there was supposed to be a change to get animals in their zones faster, and it's hard to say whether or not this moose is in his zone faster than he would have been prior to the update, but we're well into their drink time, and obviously he is just now getting there, so we'll get a shot at him. I think that'll be a vital hit from the 338, though maybe we're too high and hit the vertebrae? That'll cost us some time tracking, but either way, it is currently like almost 1,400. Not really any reason he shouldn't be in his zone yet, so I'm not quite sure what that's all about. And while that really didn't go all that well, it may have actually helped us out. We've got another zone back there. There's a couple of ways to handle this, including just slapping another tripod right here, because if we shoot a moose that's in this general vicinity anyway, we're going to be going over here to claim it, and then we could just go from there and try to take one from this zone. That'll be a little bit better than the shot we just made, and I still haven't seen any hunting pressure. I can't imagine where we would have hit that other than the vertebrae, but if he's not going down, we'll probably just leave him. And actually, there's even another bull down there. Maybe a tripod from here could work. That's almost another spot that a second tent to fast travel to wouldn't be the worst idea. The thing is, we don't have a 22 today, so how we do that? You know, probably what we ought to do is actually shoot a whitetail here. Should get the moose's attention, get him to turn, and then I'm hoping that's going to get a lung. He was under 300 meters, and it did. Alright, we got a bonus whitetail in the process, and still, no dead moose here, but we got 2 for our troubles anyway. And again, this is a pretty lengthy run. This one was one thing, but the one going way down to that other end, I almost do think we could place another tent there. This is something that I'm going to try to do a little bit different than Medved. There was too much of this on Medved, way too much spending time on our feet, either tracking or running to the next lake, next location. I want to eliminate at least some of that, just to try to be a little bit more efficient. So if we can, say, limit our amount of zones we're hunting to something like 12 to 15 and have 2 tents in areas like this that save us time, that's something I think I want to lean into. So first, our little bonus whitetail, which we actually missed the lungs and gut intestines on. Glad we didn't do that on the moose. Then we will at least see if we have room to place another tent. We do. I don't know how many tents we have placed. Actually, that was the max, so that kind of works. And then our moose evidently ran up that way as well. Actually, he's right there. That went pretty good. I don't know that we could have done that much better considering the range. So I've already lost track of how many we've shot, but moving right along here, got another silver. It was liver and stomach. Locked out, but we'll take it. 300 meters away with the 338. And we'll just head down to our next spot, which, by the way, this is one of the better lakes now for moose. At least it has been. I don't know if, like, initial spawn stuff, if eventually some of the bulls will disperse to other lakes, but initially, and when we were here on stream, there were quite a few. And this would be about right. I think there are 6 total cows that I've seen and not a single bull. So probably we'll actually just take this one closed cow out for now. I imagine if we start shooting some cows from this area, we will see bulls start to return to it. So we might as well. It's such an easy spot to get to. It doesn't cost us a tent, at least for getting to it. I do have the tent on the other side to claim stuff, which sadly we won't be taking advantage of here. I mean, at least there's a bull, but that makes 10 cows of this lake, which I think even without more than just one pathetic bull here, still kind of makes the point. This is a really good spot for moose and shouldn't be a spot that we give up on because our bulls are, at the moment at least, spawning somewhere else. That's going to be a problem because he is going to float right over to us, but at least we have a cow moose to track momentarily. There's more over there. I don't know where that one came from. He must have been, unless he was in the trees, he must have been just getting here. Maybe by the time we get done with all this, go and track this cow and get the one that's floating, he may return nervous. Worst case, we know we have an okay one down here to get one of these days. But here's our cow at least, which we just ended up, oh wow. At 128 meters, we weren't able to punch through the leg to get the heart. I was wondering why that didn't hit the heart. I thought we were maybe just off, but I don't know. Again, 300 versus 338, could the 300 have done that? I feel like it does more times than not, but even still, we, in this particular case, actually have time to kill, so it doesn't really hurt us. And although there's no sign of the bigger bull coming back, still good to note that he is at least in this area, so let's grab the one that we did get from here, which is only like 5% as big as the one that got away, 95 score. Got that hard shot there at 229. And then we'll jump to this lake up here. There actually is a moose ringstone here. You can see that we discovered it in the process of setting up, but I just don't think that's a good lake to grind. It's tough to even get into, tough to see. I think we'll generally ignore that spot, but every now and then we ought to check it. I don't understand how we spooked this moose, but we'll just hit him as he runs by. Hopefully there's not any others in the area that are going to spook from that, but I think the reason this tripod was set up was for a zone over in here, and obviously this setup is going to take a lot of time to refine, because we're definitely not making, say, the most of our time compared to what we would do on Medved in the same amount of time. But on Medved, we've been there long enough to know what zones are consistent and which aren't, but there's at least 2 from here, so getting that one running by kind of worked out. Not the biggest bull in the world, but a kind of goofy looking one. 92 score, actually lower than the last. At least the one we shot over here was semi-respectable. And there's even another quite unimpressive bull over across this little spot. So maybe it could be like the moose that were at the zone that I set up that tripod for are kind of just spread out in this same area. Got another cow coming in there too, but if we just slightly adjust, as Sir 12's trying to make sure we can't kill this guy. We ought to be able to make this work, but still got that hard shot despite the dog obstruction. And now I guess we'll go around this side. And if I've counted correctly, that'll now make 11 on the hunt so far. Hopefully we don't see too many more of those, because while they actually do look pretty good for a young bull moose, they're not exactly anywhere near a great one. And this, by the way, is kind of where I get stuck with some of these grinds. We'll run into a spot where we should move things, and then I'll always think that I'll do it after the video, after the stream, whatever, because I want to keep things moving, and then I end up not doing them. So maybe in a video like this, where it's literally our first run through and I don't think anyone's actually expecting a great one, it'll be a good time to actually get this stuff moved, because if we look at it, the hunting pressure is all like right in here. If we just adjust a little bit, I think we can make this work. And why was there one there that time? You know what? We were too close. And moving the tent in the direction I wanted to is going to even benefit that. I think that should be a long shot too, so make it 4. And then if we just kind of scoot over into this opening a bit and have the tripod just a bit further back, I think we have it. I don't know where the one that ran at us came from. I can only imagine that we fast traveled from here, because I didn't see any in this area, and he must have been in render then fast traveling would have spooked him. So he was probably down that way, but these other 3, I think we can see all those locations from the tripod, so we'll give that a try next time we go through and adjust again if needed. And then one final bonus kill, which frankly we wouldn't have even known about if we didn't end up getting the other ones, which caused us to move our setup. But right long shot him at 143 on the trot, and while we're here, just quickly we'll kind of scan this shoreline and make sure there's not anything drinking in this spot. One cow moose that we apparently have a zone for, and nothing visible up through here, which is probably good. We have a lot of moose all in one centralized location there. Hopefully it stays that way. Well, that's at least good to know. We do have some moose right down here by the Renaki outpost too, but again, like, I don't understand why this one's just walking in. We'll still go ahead and try to take him. I was hopeful somehow, I mean, he's way too far away, but I was hoping somehow we could hear that and then turn our way. What if we just kind of shoot semi-near him? Hopefully one of those shots gets his attention. That's amazing that he's not even reacting. There we go. That's going to make him spook, but hopefully that'll be a kill shot. I wanted to go up here to the railroad bridge because it used to be a really good spot for whitetail, and fairly often there used to be moose drinking down in here. So I grabbed one tent that was not being used for the grind and thought maybe we could put it up here if anything was visible. And I mean, it might not be the worst spot for things on that side anyway, but we do even have actually 3 bulls right down here. So why don't we go ahead and maybe try to get probably the 2 level 4s? The 3 is probably going to get away. That is a tough angle. We might have hit a hard shot though. We must have been like just below it. We got a lung. And then if we can, I think this guy's going to give us a shot. I don't know where, but I can't imagine he's going to get out of our sight without at least offering an opportunity. Maybe if he scoots through there. That'll be a kill shot. It may be too far back in intestines, but it will get him. In the meantime, we'll get one more crack at him as he goes through here. And that's at least going to guarantee he goes down. So there's one laying there. One more shot for good measure. And now I think we have 5 down here. And as we've pretty well reached the end of moose drink time, I think these are going to be among the last kills. So I think 2 must have died here at the walkway. Got the level 4 that we shot first, I believe, at 214. The other one is right there. And then there's the one that we hit a couple of times, which probably ran a lot further, but if there's one time to have that happen, it's when we're basically done with the run and don't need to worry about being that fast. That guy is barely a gold at level 4, but 2 goals from there, and that was the one that we almost hit that hard shot. I think we were too far right, but the angle was pretty close to getting it. At least we're able to locate him though. We actually hit him 3 times, once way too far back. Second shot was also too far back and too high. And the third shot, I think that was the one we were just hoping to get a hit and make sure he went down, but I guess that third shot probably helped. But not too bad. I think we ended up with a total of something like 16 or 17 bulls, which considering we were doing some setup and stuff, definitely is not a bad deal. I really, just from this hunt and having spent the time putting up the tents and tripods and stuff, I feel like this should be a very doable grind. And we also had like a bit of a sign when we came out here for the live stream. We were just kind of going around, not even just targeting moose at the time, and we ran into something that I felt like was just a bit of a sign that we should give Layton a shot. Alright, I'm going to read your thing, David, because otherwise I'm going to lose it. What is that? Oi! I thought you were a male. So, we can't kill... Think about that. Got like 7 piebalds on Medved. We have that mellow over on Yukon, maybe, possibly. And then there's the albino on Layton. This game is weird. I guess we'll try to blast this albino through the dings. Big emote spam. I'd say enjoy the emotes. Spam them if you want. Might even be good for a picture. Heart and left lung. 154 meters. At least we got something cool with the 338. We'll tax it if we decide to use it. We can. So that was pretty cool, not only to end up getting an albino moose, which we were never able to do over on Medved-Taiga, but also to actually add something to the free Layton trophy cabin, because that was the actual point of the stream, and at least we were able to do that. By the way, our shot was a bit far back on the one that we took almost 400 meters away, but that was kind of to be expected as he was turning that way. Anything, stomach, intestine, or lungs obviously was going to get him down, and at least we were able to add one more to our total. So I suppose we might as well jump back and take a look at the albino in the trophy cabin before we wrap up today's video. And of course, with really only 2 options for where to place it, those being the big platform in the center or the mantle, I thought for an albino cow moose, the full body platform would make more sense. So I don't know if it'll be a permanent addition. I'm still considering putting our multi-mount with the great one here in the center because it did look really good. But for now, our first proper addition to the free Layton trophy cabin, as pretty soon here, we're going to start up that series of trying to add to it. But I think on that note, that's pretty well going to do it. We were able to get a pretty good start to our grind, got an albino cow moose in the process, and we'll see what we can do on Layton Lakes, chasing the great one moose. But anyway, that's officially going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.